So good morning and welcome to another sunny, windy and warm morning here at Surf Club Kiros on the island of Lemnos. It's probably a bit windier than it looks on the cameras just now. I think if I was going out to get full speed and full power, I'd happily be on a 6.5 or a 7. But I've deliberately downsized my sail and upsized my board for another one of these coaching series to run you through some skills. So I'm on a 135 litre board and a 5.5 metre sail, and actually I think if I gave it a bit of a push, I could just about get this board onto the plane, but it's going to take me a bit of work, so I'm going to slow it down and run you through some more skills developing our gybes further. Now this is aimed at intermediate to advanced windsurfers. Maybe you're making it around your first carve gybe in the straps, maybe you're just getting better at the non-planing gybe. It works for everyone, and actually I've got a student not far behind me just now who's going to come out, and he's making it around carve gybes okay, but this is going to improve what's going on, and I'm going to show you a few little skills to help you out. Now the previous video I focused a lot on the entrance, so just quickly to recap, that entrance is checking with our head for space, wind, waves, other water users. Moving our back hand down the boom, unhook, drop our hips, start to bear away by pushing through my toes and possibly even stepping slightly across the board if I'm non-planing or planing. Head, hand, harness, hips and hooves to get ready. I'm going to focus a little bit more this time though on the footwork and how we can practice in these lighter conditions to make our footwork better for lighter and stronger winds. Now in the stronger winds I'd be encouraging you to step out of the back foot strap nice and early to get ready for the bear away. In these winds I'm always going to do the opposite and encourage you to step into your front foot strap despite not quite being planing. Now the reason for this is it will help control the extra power and it'll help you counterbalance that power by being a bit further back and locked onto the board. So the same checklist to begin starts with a head check, hand, harness, drop my hips, and this time the hooves, step into the front strap, and then slightly across. From here I bear away as I would normally. The rig is going across towards the wind, and as I come through the turn, it's going towards the outside of the turn. Counterbalancing through the midpoint until I reach the run, which is where I'm at now. I'm sailing on a run. Now this is an awkward position, so just to run you through it, if I want to keep turning, the sail has to go further to the outside and my body has to go further to the inside. This steers me through the turn more. If I do the opposite, firstly you might lose a bit of balance, but it brings you back where you've come from. It's a common fault that happens on advanced carve gybers and non-planing carve gybes. So the rig goes to the outside, my body to the inside, and it starts to feel awkward, which is where this foot change happens. And the aim of that foot change is that it's smooth and keeps the board as flat as I can. Now I'm going to flick the rig and I'll carry on. So the foot change for the planing and the non-planing gybe, especially when my front foot's in the strap like it was then, is almost identical. My front foot comes back to meet the other foot at the back of the board. We don't hang around there. It's not an old school flare gybe where you'd stand with 2 feet at the back of the board and steer downwind. We step immediately through and our new front foot goes forwards, just in front of the back foot strap. Step back, step forwards. Nice and smooth, nice and fluid. Hopefully keeping the board fairly flat-ish or even slightly on that inside rail as if you were carving the board. Let's go again. Nice bit of wind coming in. I'm not full power, but I've got a nice bit of wind here. Checking for my head, hand, harness, dropping my hips, stepping into the back strap and onto the inside rail as I begin that turn. Rig goes towards the wind, then the outside of the turn, body weight in. Foot change on the run, stepping back, stepping forwards. Let's keep going, straight into another one. Let's get this clean and working. Head, hand, harness, hips. The hooves go into the front foot strap, slightly across. We steer downwind, the rig goes towards the wind, towards the outside of the turn. An extra point, a little backhand shuffle can help at this point, make that foot change that little bit cleaner. Steer towards the exit, and to help me flick the rig, my front hand slides. Now have a look at the handwork on the exit for this one, where I catch the rig and then where that hand moves to. I've noticed there, that extra movement, you're going to catch the rig somewhere up near the front, probably slightly off the camera, right by the clamp. But once you make it there, I need some power. I want to get back moving again and potentially planing away, so move the hands back to their normal position. Whoa, and even there, that extra speed kicks in. Now, but again, and you can practice this in a straight line. I've got no power, my hands come forwards, right near the mast clamp, backhands on the harness line. As soon as I move to here and drop, the board accelerates. I take an extra bit of speed and I'm away. See that front hands move back, giving me the power that I want once again. Now what I'm hoping you can see from the drone up above my head just there is the path of the mast. I'm talking about the counterbalance route of the mast going towards the outside of the turn and my body weight to the inside. I've got a look. It's back to basics of steering. The rig doesn't go forwards and backwards to steer. The rig goes towards the wind this way to steer me downwind, or out and back to steer me upwind. Let's clarify that. Advanced steering, it's the same as beginners. Towards the wind and a little bit forwards takes me downwind. That's the way the mast should be going, towards the outside of the turn. And the further it goes, the more I steer. And again, mast's going to go forwards and towards the wind. That way. That takes me down into the turn. And the counterbalance is what keeps me going throughout the entire turn. If like that last one, something's gone a little bit wrong for whatever reason, patience I find is the key to help you flip the rig. So you don't need to rush around and scramble, but for whatever reason you've lost control and you've let go. Slide your front hand and wait. That's the direction I want to go. Back into the power again. If I rush it, I'm going to fall in. And the exact rig going to the outside of the turn. The wind dropping as I do. So the counterbalance and the rig movement is what's kept me dry. Very marginal just now, like I'm working to get planing. So the gybe is going to drop me off the plane. I might, if I'm lucky, work hard to get me going. But as soon as I try the gybe, I slow down. So it's the same non-planing gybe that we were doing just a moment ago. A little side note just to add in is underarm sailing, front hand, no problem at all. I do it sometimes and it just feels a bit comfortable, but it doesn't really matter either way as long as the rig stays away from you and we don't pull it in, because instantly that depowers us. What I've also noticed I do, in fact back a moment, flip it over for the gybe though. Planing or non-planing, turn your front hand over. But what I've noticed is on the exits of the gybe, a lot of the time I'll catch the rig underhand, drop, and then start to push through and flip it over. It doesn't really matter. I find it quite a nice way of doing it because it gets the power down low through the mast and keeps me driving onto the plane. Either way is fine. Just stay low while you do it, and you might find you're just naturally grabbing the boom upside down. So to summarise, the key points I've put in there: the entrance we're skipping past. Check out the other video, you can see more on that one. That midpoint though, the rig's gone towards the wind, which then continues towards the outside of the turn. As I get towards the run, you might need an extra little shuffle of your hand, which will help the counterbalance. Because the rig has gone to the outside of the turn, my hips, my body weight has gone onto the inside of the turn. That'll encourage the board to steer through the turn towards the exit. And the aim of that foot change is that it's smooth and keeps the board as flat as I can. The rig flip, slow and gentle. I'm going to have a little look at the disco gybe or the night fever gybe to help your rig flips very soon. Stay tuned for that one. But the rig flip points for today are: before you flip the rig, your original front hand has to go forwards. When you catch the rig on the new side, your new front hand has to come back. This is my power zone on the boom, nice and far back. Up here, I've got no power at all. I can't accelerate once again. I can't plane out of my gybes, or if we're non-planing around our gybes, I just haven't got much power in the sail to counterbalance and to really go anywhere with. So moving those hands on the boom will make a huge difference. Doing these demos and dives has taken me a long way downwind, which is kind of to be accepted, I suppose. If you're going to do gybe after gybe, you're probably going to head downwind. So often when I'm with the students I'm teaching, we'll do one gybe and 3 or 4 tacks to get us back up. 3 is quite a good number because then you're going to have a different gybe every time, of course. But while I'm tracking back upwind, final chance to say thanks for joining me again today. Remember to check out the rest of the videos through the YouTube channel, see what's going on, like, comment and subscribe. And I want to know what you guys want to see. A lot of these videos, and the last few in particular, have come because people have messaged saying, what about the rig flip? What about the footwork? Which I knew I'd missed off the last one I'm coming back to. I'm sure there's some stuff that you want to work on, so just let me know. I'm windsurfing every single day out here, and I'm going to continue to make these every few days at least. So let me know what you want. Thanks again for joining me.